if we compare this to last night, we saw a lot of things start to go off the rails hours earlier than what we're seeing right now. And I think that that is a result of a lot of the concerted effort that we're seeing by some of these organizations, some of these community leaders who are out there in the streets with them. We heard members of the community issuing this challenge yesterday to others, saying, if you really care about this cause, you will be down there standing with them. And we've seen so many incidents of that, of demonstrators telling one another, if you see somebody getting out of line, hold them back, pull them back, try your best to de-escalate ourselves. Really an effort to try to avoid the confrontations with police that were winding up with tear gas, that were winding up with arrests. You know, the members of these organizations and the demonstrators out there taking the time to look out for each other, to protect one another, and to try to quell this the best they can.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm noticing too, I mean, even collectively over the past 6, 7, 8 hours, if you're looking at CMPD's news feed on their Twitter account, the language and the account that they're giving of the events that have happened over those hours. I'm looking at a tweet that they posted 6 hours ago, shortly before 1 p.m. protesters beginning to peacefully assemble and have continued to do so as they march in Uptown. CMPD working to facilitate the continued demonstrations, and then within that same hour, the community continuing to peacefully express their viewpoints, allowing for constructive conversations with CMPD. Images of officers talking to community members and engaging even children who were out there participating with some of these demonstrations and marches earlier. A different tone, also a different time of day. One thing that we've historically seen with these demonstrations as night falls, that is when tempers start to flare. That is when we see the confrontations between police. That is when we see property damaged. But even now, I will say this, the image that we're seeing now, a conversation between the man who I just said intervened with the woman who was upset and police, peacefully talking, and the engagement there cordial.
Which is really an impressive interaction to be watching as it's happening live too, because I think all of us sit and we worry those moments of tension where you see people face to face so close. We know how quickly all it takes is just one person in the crowd, one person who picks up a brick, one person who throws a stone, one person who throws a bottle. So the collective effort by everybody there, standing shoulder to shoulder, face to face, inches apart, the tension is palpable. And so to watch the concerted effort on both sides to de-escalate it, a big departure from what we've seen in other nights.
Yeah, we know that there's been a lot of work behind the scenes with other organizations, like my buddy Sean Lucky Corbett, who is a barber and a well-known community leader here in town, the founder of Cops and Barbers, which is an organization that has been used and modeled across the country, actually. To facilitate conversations between police and the community members, knowing that in situations like this, police know exactly who they can talk to, people who are real community leaders, not people that we see sometimes in coverage and people who take credit for leading protesters in their anger, but people who actually have influence and want to see these things conducted in a peaceful manner. Let's check in now with our Brandon Goldner, who was there on the scene, who was watching this with us.
Hey, guys, so right now they're actually going to be moving her to a squad car that just pulled up. The squad car, she is right over here. The squad car is coming in on my right side over here. They are moving her right now as we're going to be moving across here. You good right there? Mike, watch out, Mike, watch out. All right, so they're moving her right now. We're going to be walking across trying to see what she has to say. She's been talking. All right, sorry, give us 1 second. We're just going to try to swing around and see what we can get and how close we are able to get.
Yeah, that's right. So we just saw CMPD saying just a moment ago that they're continuing to give dispersal orders in this area.
Right now.
Okay.
All right. So they are moving her right now. We're going to walk just.
Okay, so obviously we're seeing this woman being put into some form of a squad car, which is what the woman was asking for. This is the same woman who we saw a few moments ago saying she couldn't breathe and asking to be put in this type of a vehicle as she was taken into custody rather than the other way that they had her detained. Those words are haunting for so many people for so many reasons. To hear that refrain of "I can't breathe" certainly harkens back to the whole reason why we're here in the first place, and that is George Floyd and the nearly 9 minutes that he had an officer's knee on his neck, screaming "I can't breathe," begging for help. So to hear those words in this moment now would definitely touch a chord and resonate with everybody in this crowd, and I'm sure with the officers as well.
Yeah, and this is not the best image or the best optics for the protest going on out here at this moment. You saw several police officers as they were trying to put that woman in the back of that vehicle. They were having a hard time. It looked like there was some resistance probably, and then they started to push back people from the scene as they tried to take control of that situation, and now they're off with her in the back of the vehicle. But obviously a struggle between that woman and the several cops who were trying to put her in the back of the car.